Greetings, Twitch fans, and welcome back for another day of King of the C5.
That is gonna be brutal. That is not an easy task. Oh!
Nice shot.
Looks like Des Moines is taking some bomb hits, and he's kind of... Oh, no.
Wow. 3FM nuking a Des Moines out of existence with planes. What world do we live in?
Can he get it behind?
He does.
Oh, he does get behind. Oh, Flambass's corpse serves to protect him. It's Torp Central. Oh no. Oh, he's reversing really well. Oh, he managed to dodge. Oh, oh my lord. The perfect gap, and he manages to fit in between it. That was really well done by Bow Wow.
Wow, that dodge.
That was
Not
nice.
one, not even one hit. Also
Like,
Rick.
if he can actually take this cap, that would be ridiculous.
Wow, wow, wow. He takes it. Well done there by Asher.
That was awesome play.
Warplay the Tiger's gonna try to ram. He knows he can't survive if he gets torps. So that's the trade right there. Oh my god.
Wow, that is a very nice shot.
Holy... What? Boah, Locke deletet einfach die Des Moines.
Mamma... Lo prende! No, l'ha preso!
Sì, l'ha preso.
Ma non l'ha ucciso!
No.
L'ha preso o non l'ha
nella parte
ucciso?
sforata. Di averlo preso nella parte sforata.
Incredibile! Incredibile!
1, 2, 3, 4, oh là là, oui, beau!
He needs to basically sacrifice the planes. Unless they can... Oh, they managed to curve the shells between!
All right, welcome back, Twitch fans, for another week of King of the C5 action. We are here. It is Saturday, 3 February, coming up on 2 p.m. Eastern Time here in the Eastern U.S. I'm not in the Eastern U.S., but we are Central U.S. I'm terrible at this already. Damn. Anyways,
Confirmed.
welcome back. I know. Thanks, Seth. Glad you're here to keep me on task for these things.
No
My name is
problem.
C-Raptor. I am here, joined by Lord Zath.
Hello.
And joining us this week, my buddy from Warship Supremacy League Season 5, Sneaky. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on here. I'm really glad to be able to join you guys. I know that I've casted before in the past with you, and it was always a good time. And again, I appreciate that you let me be this awkward third wheel to check out the finals today.
This will be good, man. I enjoyed working with you on Season 5, and I'm glad you're back for this. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good day of action. Of course, we know today is the two big North American games, but already today there's been a tremendous amount of action on the other side of the pond as the EU bracket has finished up, and we now know the three teams that the EU North American teams who are about to see play. Three of those teams will go on to face three of these European teams tomorrow. Let's have a quick look at that. The bronze match down there, you see kind of in the bottom right corner, TWA swept Alliance right out of the bronze match 3-0. They looked really solid doing that. I caught at least part of game one, but then Saturday being Saturday, I had to run a bunch of errands. And then I did not get the chance to watch WGP2Win beat Omni, but 3-1, pretty convincing victory. Sneaky, you saw some of that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I got to catch most of the Wargaming Pay to Win and Omni series. I did.
What struck you the most about that match compared to some of the NA action you've seen? Anything different? Anything stand out?
So, and it's not just a thing with the EU finals, but for the tournament as a whole, they ran Hakuryu virtually exclusively. I can't remember a team off the top of my head that took the Midway, and I know that at least on our side of things, there's been plenty of teams, 07 and us APOC come to mind, that ran the Midway, and obviously the Hercuria with the AS getting the 4 fighters, obviously that's going to be beneficial for the purposes of scouting, and the Midway isn't as adept at being able to do that, at least not in the early game, and that was really the big difference. There's plenty of other things too, but that was really the big difference.
Okay. Well, and we've seen some chatter about that this week. I've seen a little bit on Reddit, people talking about the difference in the carrier play styles. Farah Zeleth himself sounded off on that particular topic. I saw some of that, but Farah, if I correct me if I'm wrong, Farah did not play with Omni today, did he?
No, he wasn't able to make it for personal reasons. So because he wasn't there, I mean, they had another guy in there, Strangers, that he did fine, but they were clearly missing his expertise and experience in the skies, and it was a big reason why they ended up losing to Wargaming Pay to Win.
Indeed. Well, as far as I can remember, and my memory may not be correct, but this is the first time in several King of the Sea seasons that an Omni or OM team in some variant has not finished at the top of the bracket. That's a pretty big shakeup in the EU clan power structure from my perspective. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a true statement. OM won King of the Seas 3, and then an OM Omni combined team, they won King of the Seas 4. So yeah, this is the first time, at least as far as I'm concerned, that a team other than OM or Omni has not won the whole thing. So yeah, definitely a little bit of a shakeup there. That's for sure.
All right. Well, so we know now. Go ahead, Zath.
I was gonna say, we've had the same kind of shakeup over on the NA side with TSF not being in the finals.
Yes, we have. And speaking of which, let's have a quick look at the NA bracket. Of course, now we know the games we're about to see. Here in a few minutes, we'll be bringing you CUTER and ZR, Absolute Territory, playing for the right to one of those teams. We'll be playing in the third. One of those teams will be going home. This will be their last game in the tournament. And then, of course, in a few hours, we'll be bringing you PSV and Devastating Strike. But as Zath pointed out, you can look back down in the quarterfinal bracket down there where Krakenjackers, Team SF, lost to 07 2-0, a match that Zath and I covered last week. And SF has a long and storied history in competitive play on the NA server. They're, I want to say, 3 or 4 time Warship Supremacy League champions.
4 times.
There you go. So definitely a little shocking to see them go out of the tournament that early.
Well, it's funny because it revolves around carrier players again. What the big thing, obviously, for them is that they had a guy by the name of Anamani as their carrier driver for season after season, and that he was one of the big reasons why that team was so good. And he actually went over to Devastating Strike. Oh,
yes. Hang on. I'm getting keep going. I'm getting something fixed in the training room.
Oh, no problem. But yeah, their carrier guy Anamani, he went over to Devastating Strike, and I don't know if for the NA side of things, if Anamani's on your team, then you're guaranteed to go to the finals or something. But he's obviously, jokes aside, a very skilled carrier player, and PSV is definitely going to have their hands full with him.
Absolutely. Well, game is up. Just for a quick technical note for those of you guys that don't understand quite how we're pulling this together today. Myself, it's a bit of a dreary day here on the upper Texas coast. I live in Houston. Zath and I are both in Central Time. Zath, where are you at again?
I'm in Chicago.
That's right. So we are both United States Central Time, where it's coming up on 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Sneaky, however, is in Okinawa, Japan, on station, on duty out there. So he is joining us. He's going to be looking over the game through Zath's eyes via, what you guys, shared Discord? Is that how we pulled this off?
Screen share in Discord. You got it, sir.
There you go. Okay, so that's how we're going to be pulling this off. So I have the view. I will be looking over CUTER's view in this first match, and Sneaky and Zath will be looking over ZR's shoulder here. Just so you guys are aware, we have this will be the first match of the entire tournament that will be streamed. We'll have 4 streamers drop in this match. In fact, they've got the map set wrong, I think. No, that's right. Atlantic doesn't have the X4. My bad. So we'll be dropping here shortly as soon as I get queued up because I fail at life.
Yeah, we're all in the training room right now for those of you guys listening and basically ready to go. The match is supposed to start at 2 o'clock Central Time. It is currently 2 o'clock, so we should be dropping momentarily.
I'm going to put the bracket up so folks, the map rotation up so folks can see where we're starting. And we are, of course, starting on the Atlantic. Then we'll be moving to Trap and Loop for certain. We must play at least 3 games as a best-of-5 series. And then, if necessary, we're moving on to Warriors Path and Shatter. Now, that tells us that when these two teams picked their maps, and let me think here. What did we kick out? We kicked out Sea of Fortune, and I'm missing one. There are only 7 maps. Yeah, I can't think of it.
Here too.
But Sea of Fortune is not in this rotation, which means that one of the teams banned it. So yeah, I can't remember the other one. Oh, I guess I should put up the... Yeah, hang on. I gotta get this done.
Yeah, Sea of Fortune is missing. The other one is Islands of Ice.
That's it. Yep, that's it.
Also, happy birthday to Zuikaku Dere.
Ah, excellent. Oh, we're dropping.
We are indeed
Game
dropping.
starting shortly here. All right. Let's talk team comp real fast. Here on the CUTER side, we have Hakuryu, Montana Yamato, Des Moines, triple Hindenburg. A lot of Hindenburg in this game. Gearing and Grozovoy. Zaf, somebody talk to me about ZR.
Well, we've got Hakuryu for carrier, Montana, Yamato, Des Moines, triple Hindenburg, and double Gearing. So, main difference that Gearing, and that's basically it looks like, huh?
Indeed, we've seen GRE and SAT play a lot of different destroyers through the course of this tournament, opting for double gearing here. We've seen GRE bust out the Z52 a couple of times with mixed success. I suspect we will not see that today.
Yeah, they tried to bring it on, it was Warriors Path, and then they also had a comp for it on Sea of Fortune. And I get the idea. I basically a poor man's radar, and if you pair it up with the cruiser, it gives them a little extra, support in that matter. But with this kind of meta where there's planes flying everywhere, at least in my opinion, I feel that you can get away with not using that because it is very liable to air attack.
Absolutely.
Well, and we saw what how 07 handled the Z52 last week, and it was brutal. They were very mean to him.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, they shoved a Des Moines up close enough and then let that 50-some-odd second radar just tear it apart. And I don't even think the Des Moines got shots on him. It was him just spotting it for his friends.
Now, for those of you guys who are watching what's going on, basically, in a couple of the maps, we have to kill ourselves in carrier. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm committing seppuku with my Ryujo.
Indeed. A lot of that going on here. All right, so... early CUTER deployment. We've got a lot of cruisers headed up north, backed up by Montana. Hindenburg, Des Moines, and Hindenburg headed up towards C. Hindenburg already on the in about A6 or so. Grozovoy rotating that direction as well with a gearing, keeping an eye on B, and it looks as if we're going to have Hindenburg Yamato playing back along the 1-2 line to kind of slow up or hopefully prevent any major pushes of ZR forces through A. How's ZR lining up, fellas?
They're looking like a major push to A, with the ability to flex into B cap. One of their Hindenburgs is not... Nope, he's moving now. I thought at first he might have been AFK, but nope, he's good. So we've got one Hindenburg, Yasin Poi, is going to basically try to hold C, or at least delay them, while I think ZR is planning on trying to cap both B and A at the same time.
Alright, let's see here. Cruiser Kenu's Hindenburg way up on the A line here.
Ooh.
Looks like he's holding some long-range fire. Gonna back up Kasumi Didi's push into C with his Grozovoy.
Carefree Tongue is winning the air war over at A. That's really huge for the team as they go and they capture A without any contest whatsoever.
You have no eyes down there for anybody to get spots on that DD.
Dolphin Princess took a 10k hit moving down into A. That was actually a pretty nice salvo from, I'm going to guess, the Yamato that's moving away from A, because that's at least 20 kilometers, if not more.
It was actually, and I believe if you'll check one of Princess's turrets, Zuikaku is telling his team that he took out one of that Hindenburg's turrets.
Wow.
Correct. That's the front turret. Good point.
Well, I guess it's a rune now, huh?
So it would seem. Rune with better torpedoes. All right. CUTER's about to put into C, already a little behind here in the early game, and on the back of an early cap here by ZR.
And
ZR now pushing into B.
Yep.
Yeah, I see this.
That's SAT score. He's going to get spotted pretty soon, but he's using the school bus camo. which is always fun.
Oh gosh. Oh, man, it's
Oh,
so
backed up
ugly.
by Major Reed. This is Des Moines there. That's a great position for Reed this.
Yes, it is.
That's a very common place to shove the Des Moines, especially if you spawn on the southeastern side. You see that rock that Zath is looking at right there. It provides you a lot of cover from shells. Obviously, there's that little dip, that little V right there that you have to be careful about. But overall, it's a pretty strong position.
Yeah, we've seen both Minotaurs and Des Moines set up there over the course of the tournament. Bit of an air war here over B as Destroyer Kuroshi Okai looks like he's spotted, got his DF up maybe? Nope, probably just regular AA fire trying to help out his carrier there. And it looks as if ZR will pick up B.
Yeah, I was going to say, Carefree did a nice job there of baiting out the strafe, forcing Midway to exit strafe out, and there it goes. Air War is won at B.
Indeed. Now, CUTER has pushed a lot of force up to C, and I'm wondering if we're going to see something that we saw ZR do to OIF way back in round 1 of the tournament. Do you remember, Zath? We watched ZR push double Hindenburgs and all kinds of force up through this C cap, and then they turned and came straight down the 8 line and just punished OIF the entire way. Do you remember that?
Yes, we did see that. That was a pretty handy victory for them.
It was. I don't think it's going to be that easy for CUTER if they try that here, but I am curious to see if that's what they intend to do. Right now, giving up a couple caps early, down about 75 points or so here with about 5 minutes gone in the first game.
Oh, Gearing just took some big
nice
torp.
drop.
Here comes another one.
That's a nice drop.
Up too close. Oh, gone. Carefree
Goodness
Tongue
gracious.
saying, "This is my ocean, you go away."
Carefree Tongue with a fantastic drop on Destroyer Kuroshi Okai north of B. That is a big swing of power. That's going to severely limit CUTER's ability to contest caps.
Absolutely. And I was just going to mention, if you look at this, ZR is doing a wonderful job of setting up for defense, especially now with that Destroyer gone.
Well, with a cap lead, of course. That's what they should be up to.
CUTER's going to have to push at some point, and, Major Reed, this is in perfect position there to completely deny that push. You can see the Amato's Wikaku now turning south, trying to maybe find a way in through A with the Hindenburg here.
Zath, you actually really hit the nail on the head with that one. It's very tempting for teams that spawn southeast to push through A, but ZR has made a very nice job of turning back around and saying, hey, you don't have a destroyer down here, so if you want to come and get the A cap, you're going to have to push back in and get it, and it's a very smart play to make.
And Red Front is positioned perfectly to deny that Yamato from even thinking about going through A.
Well, he does have a broadside right here. Looks like the cute Yamato is turning away, but there are shells going downrange from Red Front. We'll see if he manages to get some hits here.
Trying to follow them in. Let's see what happens. Oh, of course we lose the vision.
Oh, that's a lot of nice hits.
Well, this CUTER group in C has kind of pulled up the handbrake, stalled a bit on the CD line here. I'm not sure this is a good play. They need to keep moving. I think maybe, I'm speculating that maybe they think they need to maybe get a bit of a ship advantage before they try to push, but every second they wait is a second that they're not able to hold down the points gain that ZR is building, already 200 and change and continuing to widen.
Well, the big thing, too, is that every moment that they wait on C gives ZR enough time to rotate members back over to stop the A push, which is we're already kind of seeing happening.
We're already seeing that. Now, Kasukami has just touched his toes into the northern-western cap side of B. Where are your gearings? Talk to me, fellas.
Well, Gearing is right by the Des Moines. I think he's in position to smoke him out, should he need to be moving out. There's Kasumi.
Yep, Kasumi spotted by planes now in B.
The other gearing is down at Gulf 9. He's just to the west of the Hindenburg and Montana that are over there.
Okay, so we've got one destroyer then that can possibly get into this cap to contest and or keep eyes on Katsumi.
Almost definitely.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was going to say welcome to the people watching my stream, Seabear and Steve B. Dancer. Thanks for joining.
One thing that I'd like to say, this game is actually turning out very similarly to Omni and Wargaming Pay to Win. They played this for game number 4 in the finals, and obviously Wargaming Pay to Win won the game, but ZR's deployment is almost mimicking exactly what Wargaming Pay to Win did. They send some forces over to the 9 and 10 line to stall, they do not push through A, and they basically form this triangle of doom. Where you
on the verge of a cap, he bags it right as he sails out. Wow.
Yep.
Good timing.
Razor thin timing there as he's spotted. I was assuming the gearing was going to try to reset him, but gearing never took a shot.
Yeah, I was
No,
watching
he
the gearing for that, and I'm surprised that he held his fire there. I think he just wanted to put his rear in to stop
so.
the cap, and
CUTER with a bit of a bold push here to try and stem some of the bleeding. 200 points down, but starting to close the gap again on the back of a cap at B. Now, this cap at B, though, they can't really support it. Kasumi's really the only ship they have there. I'm kind of surprised they haven't brought Cruiser Kinu's Des Moines down a little closer to help defend B, because Lord knows they need the points.
well, not only that, but your Yamato Zuikaku Dera is very low. I know he's
checked in on those guys in a while. Yes,
Last
he
we
is.
saw, though, he was at about a fifth to a quarter health.
He's on about 30,000 HP now and climbing. He is repairing.
Yep.
Well, not just that, he's going to be out of the fight for a while, too.
Oh, yeah. Once again, we see Carefree Tongue winning, most likely, the air war. Keeping his side, his flank, safe from these bombers and torpedo bombers, and more importantly, the vision.
Yep. Does look that way. Carrier Midway, ironically playing a Hakuryu, but not having a tremendous amount of success there. It's interesting to me that ZR seems content to let CUTER tick up that B cap for a while. I guess they figure, you know what? What's the rush? We've got some points. We've got a points cushion. As we approach the halfway mark of the match, there's not really a sense of urgency, it seems like, for them to contest B right away.
Well, GRE score is actually getting on B. He's smoking up his buddy in the Des Moines, and they also have the torpedo. They also got torpedo bombers that are hovering above the Des Moines as well. So maybe they're going to try to push those guys out into the cap while this gearing is contesting it now.
It's interesting because those torpedo bombers are not spotted, as it looks like GRE score is now back into the cap. The bombers just appeared on my screen, so we can see them over there.
That's
Kasumi
correct.
now again back into the cap, denying the advancement of that cap to GRE score. I'm confident there's a radar coming here if it's not up already.
Not yet, but I have a feeling that they're waiting. Reed This is probably waiting until he gets in range to be able to shoot, and he hasn't cleared the island just yet. Meanwhile, they're using the torpedo bombers as vision to scout for torpedoes. Very smart.
Yep, that Des Moines is creeping forward. There are some torpedoes coming in from the Grozavoy, but it appears he pulled on the brake just in time. Don't think he's going to eat any. No, he's not going to eat any of those.
Yep. In competitive, we often see that smoke screens are torpedo magnets, so that was probably the plan, was make it obvious that the Des Moines going to move there, and then don't move him there right away.
Yep.
Kasumi continuing to kind of evacuate, retreat from B here a little bit. Is AA finally starting to go off and work on these torpedo bombers? Clearly, ZR will be picking up B again as the gap closed to about 160 points, 150 points or so. But now going to start going the other way in favor of ZR.
And look at this positioning by ZR as well. You got all those ships that, they look like they're out of position way down south on the 9 line, but you can see that, CUTER's trying to push some dudes around that island that's just to the south of A, but this push is being stalled up. Obviously, the air battle has gone decisively in ZR's favor so far, but they just really can't push around that.
Tell you, I'm really surprised, right? CUTER's got all this force in C, and it's literally just camping here.
Yep.
You've got a Des Moines, a Hindenburg, a Montana. You've got a tremendous amount of firepower up on the C and D lines, and they're just chilling.
It's almost like they don't know what to do to rectify the situation. They're kind of hoping for the other side to do something, but the other side can't. They've been blocked.
Well, there are times that kind of chilling and waiting for your opponent to make a mistake is the right play, but I think this is not that time for CUTER, right?
Not
they
with
need
8
to
minutes
force
left.
a play. No, they've got 8 minutes left. They're 200 points down and falling further behind. They need to force a play somewhere. I don't know what that looks like. That's not my decision or call, but they got to do something.
I just want to mention, just like we saw with 07, ZR is doing a great job of smoking up their cruisers. Yasenpoi's been in smoke this whole time in the Hindenburg, and he's just been getting shot after shot after shot into their Hindenburg and their Montana. Oh, and here comes some torpedoes.
Yep. As I mentioned earlier, this is looking extremely like the Omni and Wargaming Pay-to-Win game. Omni tried to push through A. They stalled virtually in this exact same position, and now it looks like Shinano is going to eat 2 torpedoes here. Yep, it's going to be 2. Yep, there we go.
That's huge. DCP
2
being
torpedoes
triggered.
here.
ZR now pinging the minimap saying this guy's DCP is down. Everybody focus him. Let's get him out and let's get game 1 over with.
Yeah.
Certainly is headed that way as ZR closing to almost within 150 points of victory here. 7 minutes to play. Game 1 on the Atlantic.
Destroyer Sashio is now spotted, probably trying to make a play, get people to focus him instead, so that Shinano's got a little bit of time. But this is the finals, so that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, Zedar is not going to fall for that. Shinano continuing to retreat, healing now.
Mm-hmm.
Back up over 10k, 12k. More shells coming in.
But look at that. Just the spot plane, they got it up. You know, it's well over 20 kilometers for some of these Hindenburgs, and it just doesn't matter. They're able to hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
We learned in Clan Wars, it's why you take spotter plane on Hindenburg. As a torpedo strike going in now on Kasumi DD, it looks like here just to the west of the B cap, popping his defensive fire.
Also, I want to mention real quick,
torpedo bombers home.
Shinano's perspective. When we were looking over there, he was too far away from the island to prevent shots over the island from the flank, and that's what brought him down ultimately.
Yep. Well, with Shinano's death there over to the southeastern edge of the C cap, that moves ZR to within 40 points of victory here with about 5 minutes to play. CUTER needs a big kill, and I just don't see anywhere on the board they're going to be able to get one. Nobody on ZR is even below probably 2/3 health.
Yeah, maybe Redo front, but he's healing up now. Dolphin Princess is still down, so
they're not going to. Yeah, but they're not going to dev strike a Yamato from 70,000 hit points.
No.
Kubi takes a last-ditch dip into B to try to stem the tide here, but just a few more seconds and ZR will claim game 1.
Yeah,
you never know. Maybe somebody forgot their debt flags.
Yeah. I was hoping that Shinano explosive was going to explode, but that didn't happen.
We have seen some detonations in the tournament. It is unusual, but it happens as ZR takes game 1 here on the Atlantic in the 3rd place match.
That's correct.
They looked like they were in total control from start to finish, and they're really, besides Dolphin taking 10k at the beginning, I mean, if you want to call that a mistake, that's really the only I guess, little tiny thing that I could point out. They played that very
Yeah, I don't even know that I'd call that a mistake. I mean, if you're in a Hindenburg at long range, sometimes you get wrecked. That's just the way it goes when you drive that ship.
Yep. It was a lucky salvo from the Yamato. I didn't even expect it. I wasn't covering it and didn't catch it, unfortunately.
Right. Now,
because you never see that, you know.
Have a peek at the plane kills, and you get a sense of how badly Carrier Midway kind of lost that air war to Carefree Tongue's AS Akuryu.
That's insane.
That's a pretty significant difference there.
Absolutely. The key though is, and we don't see it in the stats so much, but Carefree Tongue was getting assistance with the anti-air from both the Des Moines, Major Read This, and from I think GRE score actually. No, he didn't get any kills, but he was often fighting over friendly anti-air bubbles, whereas Midway was getting himself trapped, pushing in too deep.
All right, well, ZR claiming game 1 here as we start to look ahead to Trap.
That's right. Now, we have up to a 10-minute break in between matches. It's up to the teams to determine how long that break shall be.
Indeed. Well, let's take this opportunity then to talk a little bit about these teams. We kind of rushed through the quick look at the brackets early. We didn't make that a priority. Why don't we do that now and talk about these two teams? Not everybody has been watching the whole tournament. Certainly not everybody. We've got quite a number of viewers from overseas or whatnot. So let's familiarize them with these two teams.
All right. Let me pull out that spreadsheet really quick.
Yeah, I'm working on it here. So I'll start on my side. Folks watching my stream are watching CUTER. CUTER is a bit of a vet of the Supremacy League here in North America, Warship Supremacy League. Typically, that is a Tier 8 competition. The last every season of Warship Supremacy League has been a Tier 8 9v9. They were formed last July, as a Supremacy League group. They did play in Season 5 this past fall. I forget where they finished. Sneaky, do you remember? Were they a Gold Division team or a Silver Division team?
They were a Gold Division team. They did not make the playoffs, so each division has, Gold, Silver, and Bronze, at least the way that used to be, had 12 teams each. They finished, I believe, in 9th place, so they didn't make the playoffs. But then again, they haven't been around, I guess it's last July. So yeah, that was their first. I mean, I know they've reformed. I think that they used to be something before CUTER, but anyway, they reformed again for Supremacy League, and they didn't have the finish that they wanted, but they had a pretty respectable finish for the first season of Clan Battles at 9th place.
Indeed. And they also finished in, of course, Clan Battles, the season of Clan Battles here, wrapping up in right before Christmas. Is that right? Yeah, right before Christmas.
Yep.
They were 9th in that as well. So definitely a solid team. I mean, they made it this far in the tournament. They've played very well to get to this point. They beat MAIC in the quarterfinal match, which was one of their tougher opponents. MAIC, an excellent group of people, also veterans of Supremacy League play here in North America. So they've made it this far and doing a good job. Zath, Sneaky, what about ZR? What do our little cheat sheet have to say about those guys?
So these guys formed January of last year. They started out in the Silver League of Supremacy, and they actually won that for Season 4. They went 17-1. And then for Season 5 of Supremacy, which took place from last September through November, they finished in 3rd place when they moved up to Gold and went 12-3. They also finished 2nd in the first season of Clan Wars. So this is a team that has only gotten better and better the more that they have played in the comp scene. And they're a team that I was really high on when they formed up. I figured that they had a lot of potential. And, getting back once again to the Final Four, so to speak, again, they were in Season 5, and now they are here for this tournament. They're a team that they've been very impressive, to say the least.
Absolutely, and I can say that when we faced ZR back when I was with APOC doing competitive, we often had the challenge where ZR would be okay walking away, and they would play very passively, let us go, even possibly catch all 3 caps, allow us to get a point lead, get a little complacent, and then they just come smashing in wherever we're weak. And boy, did they have a really good strategy back then. That was pretty difficult.
Definitely, and an excellent group of players. We've cast 2 different ZR games, 2 different ZR matches, Zath and myself, over the course of the tournament. We cast them, I want to say, back in round 2 when they played OIF in the group stage, and then just last weekend with their semifinal round game against Devastating Strike, which they took game 1 of. They looked very good doing it. And then gave 07 a very difficult fight on several other maps, but coming up just short a few times, and here finding themselves now in the 3rd place game.
So one last thing that I wanted to say about ZR, they're one of those teams that I would definitely consider, at least for the last few months. They've definitely been, a top 5 or even a top 3 NA clan, but for the last season of Supremacy League, when they finally got to the Final Four and they played against SF, they weren't able to beat them. And then again here in the Final Four against 07 last week, they also fell. So they're one of those teams, they have the talent to play with the big boys. They just haven't been able to make it over that final hump. Now, granted, 3rd place, there's still, nothing to be ashamed of with that. But they just haven't been able to, and whichever one of these teams wins, CUTER or ZR, they're going to have their hands full against TWA, which is a very competent EU clan that will be in that 3rd place cross-server match.
Very much so. I did not catch much of the TWA match this morning, but I caught some of last weekend's match. They were playing, I'm going to test my memory now. I think they played Skunk. That sounds right. Anyways, excellent games. TWA looked very good. Or maybe it was they played Omni. TWA played Omni last weekend. That's what I saw. Yeah, and those were tough fought matches. I think they took Omni all the way to Game 5.
They did,
and had a lead in Game 5 before Omni found a way back to victory there to take that match and move on to the finals that they ultimately lost earlier today.
As a matter of fact, the way that they pulled that Game 5 back was they had TWA. That is, they had a Minotaur that was right next to that island on Atlantic, and that little V shape that the little depression where you can throw shots in there. I think it was in the video that Wargaming made for the that little trailer you guys played right at the beginning, and that was the turning point of that match.
I saw that play live when it happened, and I was excited to see Wargaming put that into the video because I thought it was really impressive. Yeah. All right, we're dropping now into traps. So game 2 coming up momentarily. ZR going into this match with a 3 to win. And let's have a quick look at team compositions. What has changed, if anything? Now, CUTER, okay, so CUTER has made a change. They were earlier single Des Moines, triple Hindenburg. They have dropped to Hindenburg now and added a gearing. So they are now gearing, Grozavoy, double Hindenburg, Des Moines, Montana Yamato, that hasn't changed, and Hakuryu.
And on the ZR side, interestingly enough, Major read this taking out the Moskva now instead of Des Moines. We saw this map with the Moskva being relatively ineffective, so it'll be interesting to see if they can make it work. And hey, I thought the same thing as Quad here. I'm gonna whack Umer a little.
Well, it's interesting you say ineffective, because this is one of the maps where a Moskva positioned correctly can be can have a very big influence on the game. A lot of times what teams will do is they'll shove it in next to the B cap, either in, let's see here, like G6 or F7 for the southeast spawn, and then Echo 4 and Delta 5 for the northwest spawn. And what it gives you is, what is it, 11.7 kilometer radar, and if you have the mod on it, it goes up to near 40 seconds. So you basically are able to spot so much with that radar. Nothing in and around B is able to stay hidden.
I'll be
and
curious.
If your team is able to work the angles, it works out.
I'll be curious to see how they make that work, because we've watched teams put a Moskva in there near B before and then really struggle with it. The success that we've seen with dumping and keeping a radar cruiser near B cap has mostly come with Des Moines. We've seen ZR stick Yasenpoi there before and have excellent success with it. I'm surprised to see him not doing that here, but obviously maybe you read this as Moskva gonna play a role in how they intend to play this map against CUTER. Early deployment here, CUTER sending a gearing to C, a gearing to B. Looks like Destroyer Kuroshio-kai here just about to try and reverse his stern into B, backed up at close range by a Des Moines, as Kasumi's DD's Grozovoy probably headed to A, obviously in a bit of an air battle here, trying to flush out these bombers that are being used to spot his team early.
Yeah, those bombers got too deep in there. They're gone. That's unfortunate. There goes the spotting for the team. ZR is interestingly, they're pushing for A, but they've got a kind of subgroup going towards C right now. And I think what they're trying to do is cover both sides of the flank so they can, penetrate one side, whatever's weakest.
Very interesting to see CUTER bring 3 destroyers, and not because it's an unmeta thing to do. It's just I haven't seen any of the EU teams bring 3Ds, none that I can remember off the top of my head. And I know that conventional wisdom tells me that the NA side gives a bit more precedent to having full AA spec boats. At least that's the word on the street that I'm getting from the players from both sides. But having 3 destroyers, at least on trap, it's a great idea, and that's something that we in APOC did whenever we played here, and we had pretty good success on this map. Running that, except for one of the games. But you got to be careful, though, because you don't have those hit points. You don't have that extra cruiser worth of hit points just to be able to tank damage, which sometimes it's needed.
The key is going to be in rotating your destroyers around and making sure that their presence is felt throughout the battle and not just in one spot.
No, absolutely. There's only a handful of maps in this rotation I would consider bringing 3 destroyers on, but this is absolutely one of those maps just because of the way these islands lay out, how constricted they can be, the few access points you have into these cap circles, all of these things playing a big role in terms of where you need a destroyer and how you're going to employ it.
Some shells coming in on Dolphin Princess. Might have stuck his nose out just a bit too far. Nope. They good.
Yeah.
ZR now picking up A early on, starting to build on a bit of a lead here, as somebody in B is contesting Kuroshio-kai's cap. Staring contest there, as let's see, who is this? Shigure DD's destroyer as gearing, climbing up the 8 line here, kind of keeps turning away from C. Carefree Tongue's doing a really good job of picketing the bottom into C with those 2 fighter groups. Shiguri will absolutely be spotted if he continues north, so he keeps kind of slowing down, turning away. I think he's waiting now for Carrier Midway to bring in some of his fighters and help push these guys back.
It's one thing
allow him access to that cap.
I was going to mention is that Carrier Midway is being a lot less aggressive than he was the last battle. He's definitely pulling his fighters back and his bombers back more often. Very much afraid to commit to an air war right now, which unfortunately might be an Achilles heel for CUTER here, because that means that ZR is going to have that edge on spotting.
C-Raptor, where is the 3rd CUTER destroyer? I cannot for the life of me understand why one of them has not gotten onto the C cap up north.
That's what I was saying a minute ago. Shigure DD is just about to enter the C cap. He is in E8. He's about to turn into the cap, but but Carefree Tongue has been picketing the bottom end of that cap circle right along the DE line with at least 2 fighter groups, and Shigure, for whatever reason, was unwilling to go up there and knowing he was going to be spotted.
Well, then I guess I was a little late to the party.
That's okay. Kuroshi Okai going just out of the cap far enough to reset his cap points. Taking a bit of random shell fire there. Ducking back into strafe.
Yeah, Carefree is winning the air war. Wait, but Shigure is coming in with his defensive fire possibly on, and that's going to help.
Yeah, Shigure, for whatever reason, seems skittish. He doesn't seem to want to go in there with those fighter groups around. And I'm really surprised because we know that a gearing with defensive AA up can absolutely get rid of those fighter groups whenever it wants to.
We saw Midway actually strafe some of his own fighters a second ago.
Well, he may be willing to make that trade just to clear out the cap a bit.
Wait, hold on. Midway strafed his own fighters in a hack?
Yeah.
All right, Shigure now smoking up right on the edge of the C cap. Continuing to contribute his A to the air battle as Kuroshi Okai looks like he might finally pick up B here. It's taken him almost 6 minutes. No, it looks like the cap is halted again.
Yes, GRE once again sterning into B cap to prevent the cap. That's really good because that's going to allow the southern group time to flank around. Assuming that's what they're looking to do.
We have not spotted any of those ships that headed towards A in a very long time. So now ZR moving out to about a 100-point lead here. 6 minutes gone here on Trap as CUTER trying to find a way to start getting some points here. Looks like Shigure might actually pick up C. He's not spotted, I don't think, in that smoke. Don't think there's anybody coming for him, so C it is. CUTER picking up their first cap here at the 13-minute mark. As Kuroshi Okai continues to have a staring contest across the B cap.
I'm not sure what these guys north at C are trying to do anymore. It looked like they were heading towards C, but then now they're turning around. They're heading back south again. I think they're anticipating a major push from CUTER through Charlie. So I think they're getting ready to hide away. Try to trade damage.
I don't see that push happening. You've got Shigure in the cap. He's backed up by Kruzakino's Hindenburg at about 4 or 5 clicks behind him. But Zuikaku Deri's Yamato is all the way down the 8 line in F8. Not really anywhere close to that cap. You know, he's reversing now, but he doesn't seem interested in pushing.
It's a very interesting spot. I'll leave it at that.
That's about what I was thinking as well. I'm questioning the wisdom of that position, but that's where he is. So we'll see how it goes. Meantime, CUTER's force over here to the east of A, fairly, I'll say beat up, they're fairly healthy. But they are not really accomplishing much. You've got a destroyer Sashio's Hindenburg and smoke down there on the J line. Kasumi DD's Grozovoy kind of patrolling in front of him, backed up by a Montana here. Who is this? This is Shinano Explosive, but they're not really pushing the cap.
Yep.
C-Raptor, please correct me if I'm wrong, but when ZR played against 07 in that semifinal game, if I recall correctly, they not only spawned on the northwest side, but they made a push to A. And does it look similar to what they were doing against DevStrike, or?
This does not, because what they did in that game on this map, they spawned on the western side of the map, just like you said. But they pushed 2 Hindenburgs, a Yamato, and I think a Gearing straight through A, right down 07's throat. And 07's, I think they had a Montana, a Hindenburg, and somebody else kind of retreated up the 9-10 line for a while. A big, long running gunnery duel that finally culminated people dying, at the 18-minute mark. Like, it was just a tremendous amount of fire exchange for very little gain in that match. And in the end, ZR did win the map. It was their one win in that particular matchup. It worked out well. We don't really see them.
Dropped down for a sec there, popped his defensive fire, managed to, hold off the torp bombers. Good play there. Now he's smoking up. He's possibly... Nope, B is being contested. Never mind.
Yep, the staring contest at B continues. Neither team getting any kind of advantage here. CUTER forces now moving into C. We've got Shigure and Cruiser Kinu well into C now. Zuikaku Deri has finally come around up on the E line, backing them up a little closer range.
One thing I like is that GRE is not sitting in the cap. He's allowing the cap to tick up. It doesn't matter who sits there and pisses longer as long as the cap is stopped right before it's done.
Yasenpoi took a big hit.
Shinano's
Where is
gonna take a
Yasen?
hit as well.
Oh, he's up north. I see him now. Yasenpoi looks like, I'm assuming those were Yamato shells.
Like 6 torps? Yep, 6 torps. Another lovely drop by Carefree Tongue, really showing the power of the Hakuryu when you're able to outplay the other carrier.
Was that Shinano that took those torps?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I missed it. It's okay. Big map. We can't cover everything here as Destroyer Asashio eats a big salvo down here on the J line. Those long-range gearing torps really paying off for ZR. Blowing him off the board in smoke. That's the first kill of the match going to ZR here on Trap.
That push through C that you were talking about earlier, C-Raptor, it is materializing. They got, looks like the Yamato, the Hindenburg, and then I would presume that the gearing is over there as well.
Yep, he is laying smoke for Cruiser Kinu's Hindenburg. Kinu well into C, continuing to shell the Montana and the Hindenburg when he can get eyes on them. Spikaku Darius Yamato now in an interesting position, able to exert some pressure onto B if they can spot somebody to kill.
Yeah, the Moskva is in big trouble if he gets spotted right now, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It depends on if the Des Moines here, killing time, decides to stop killing time and do something.
Lukaku ran aground a little bit on an island over here. He's going to have to readjust himself and get his guns turned into that cap, but right now, he's been busy shelling Yasenpoi. Yasenpoi's probably the lowest team member on ZR, the only one who's really under threat of death. They're keeping him spotted with a dive bomber way over on the A line, up in A2. The fighter's now going up there to clean that guy out, realizing that that's what's keeping Yasenpoi spotted. Dive bomber has nowhere to run. He'll be out shortly, but as long as Yasen's spotted, they're going to keep shelling him.
But the important thing, though, is in the south flank, I mean, now that Hindenburg is gone, Asashio, it's open season on that Montana, and we just see him getting punished hard for that.
Yeah, Shinano Explosive now getting punished down here on the H line. No real force now stopping any kind of ZR push straight through A. Kasumi Didi's Grozavoy is about the only thing between that Montana and the entire rest of the ZR fleet in A.
Got some Yamato shells coming in, possibly on the Montana?
8 minutes.
It's on Yasenpoi.
Look at that hang time.
8 minutes to play. 220-point lead and holding for ZR here on Trap in Game 2.
And once again, see, they stopped the cap, forced the enemy destroyer to get off, and the pissing match continues.
There's some torpedoes coming down from the north here.
That's going to get him. Jerry's gone.
Yep.
1 and 2. Oh!
No!
He dodges the second one.
Wow!
The server desync, the desync right there.
Dodges the second one, but he
that totally
must be
went
low
under
now.
the rear turret.
Yeah. Oh, they just set the torpedo too deep, that's all.
That's interesting now. Destroyer Kurushio now having to rotate back to smoke, killing time here. He's under continuous fire from the Des Moines down in A.
Here comes...
SAT score does have some torps going in on the Des Moines of CUTER that's sitting at the corner of
GRE
B.
score was spotted there briefly. It looked like he took some Yamato shells.
He did.
Mikaku Deri now taking his Yamato directly into the B cap. Looks like he's had enough of this Montana gearing holding off his team.
Yeah, I think he's decided that it's time to exert some pressure on this side.
I said Montana, I meant Moscow.
No, that's good.
Thing though is that right now he's the only thing spotted. He's the only thing for the southern team to start shooting at, and we're gonna see he's gonna take a lot of damage very quickly. SAT
take a lot of hate here. Destroyer Kuroshio Kai now well into B, I think, and so is McKillen Times. Des Moines, I think they're gonna make a run for this island at B, and try and push these guys out of B. This will be curious to see how we pull this off.
They smoked up Dolphin Princess down right at the edge of A, and he's getting some very nice medium range-ish shots into Zuikaku Dare's Yamato. So
GRE score spotted now on about 3,500 HP outside the cap. There's now 3 CUTER ships in B. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't think they're going to be able to reset them all. I think eventually CUTER will pick up this cap. I strongly suspect. Ooh, that's a big kill. Cruiser Kenyu going down up here at C.
Very nice
Time
shot
just
by
got hit.
Trail.
Indeed.
Now, you see, that's a good teaching point right there. That team that was pushing through C, they got the cap and they made a nice push in there. But if you overextend just a little bit too much, it's very easy to, I guess, become lazy and forget about those ships that are currently in Charlie 3. And as soon as they turned just a little bit south and exposed that broadside, then it got
Killing
punished
time.
heavily.
Killing time getting punished here in B. 1,800 hit points and falling, and there he goes. Shells coming in from all directions on Zuikaku Kai and McKillen.
Yeah,
Roshio Kai
big hits too.
Roshio Kai continuing to tick up B here, but CUTER now over 400 points down with 5 minutes to play here in Game 2.
Yeah, and it's definitely not worth it to make this kind of trade just to get a cap.
No.
Exactly.
Yep, there goes Zuikaku. As Zedar moves to basically within 100 points of victory, a costly cap for CUTER, losing 3 ships in the process.
And I have a feeling that Major Reedus is just waiting for his team to say, pop the radar.
Oh, yeah. Most
If you're Zedar at this point, you literally don't even have to show yourself. You just chill and let the points tick up. You have a 500-point lead.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this gearing that's at Charlie. Oh, there's some torpedoes. Just what I was expecting to see coming, but GRE is not there anymore.
Shigure has just basically left C, knowing that there's nobody really up there that can contest the cap, and there's anyone left to smoke. He's coming down to B, but I think it's going to be too little too late here.
Yep.
It's just a huge mountain for CUTER to climb. They need a kill, and I look at the map. I don't know where they're going to get one. Mechanics is probably their best bet.
Yes,
yeah.
I was about to say that, but Shinano is also being focused. He's on fire right now.
Did they have anyone around to smoke up Mechanics?
No.
No, they don't.
Shinano also very low, 40, 3,700 and falling. More shells coming in.
That's it.
He's going to go down. No, he puts the fires out, and there you go. Nope. ZR looking very strong to bag Game 2 here as they close within 20 points of victory. CUTER desperately needing a kill, but I don't see where they're going to get one.
Not going to happen anymore.
I mean, they're down to 3 destroyers and the carrier. Just don't see it.
Look at a border humper.
Yep. Well, and you saw too, his shells just completely bounced off of Mechanics. So, oh well.
One more tick for ZR and the game will end. And there it is. ZR picks up Game 2 here on Trap in the North American third place match.
Now, Raptor, what do you think is going on over on the CUTER Discord voice chat? What are they talking about now? Look at the plane kills.
I was just fixing to say, I'll tell you what, if it's me, I'm trying to talk to Midway to be like, wow, man, I don't know what we're doing wrong, but this is bad. The CUTER carrier is just getting destroyed. I mean, this is not even a contest.
CUTER's made a very nice run in this tournament, and it's nice to see that that they're back, at the forefront of comp NA play. But I think it was apparent that when they got beat 3-0 in the semifinal last week by PSV, that they may have finally met their match. And it's arguable that ZR is even better than PSV. And I think that this is clearly showing right now. Obviously, they're doing all that they can. But between the carrier battle being won decisively by ZR and very smart play from the surface ships from ZR that are not carriers, this has just been very, very dominant, to say the least.
Something else you looked at here, ZR didn't even lose a ship.
Nope.
Like, that is very rare at this level of play.
Yes.
Yeah, they had a couple that were low, like that Hindenburg early, but they held on. Yasin Poi was able to survive and stay off on the flank and basically make himself less important than the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, they did a brilliant job of pulling Yasin back, realizing how he was getting spotted and removing that bomber off the board. Now he's free and clear, right? That was just excellent carrier play by Carefree Tongue, moving the fighters back, wiping that bomber out. Now any pressure on Yasin just disappears. He's out of range. He's unspotted.
Wow.
Right.
Carefree with 59 plane kills, back-to-back 50 burgers, swatting those planes out of the sky. That's insane.
That is a guy who knows how to strafe. He knows how to use that 4 fighters to their maximum advantage.
Yeah. Because generally speaking, the carrier is not going to be the ship that gets the most plane kills, at least if you're playing really well. But it's just apparent that, unfortunately for CUTER, that their carrier Midway, is just a bit outclassed here in this Secure U battle.
I think it's important. Let's look back at the matchups at the bracket from way at the start, and let's take a look at where ZR came through, and then let's take a look at where CUTER came through.
All right, I'm pulling it up right now. Let's have a check.
It's kind of interesting. Remember last weekend we were talking about CUTER and saying, I don't think they're gonna win.
You were saying I picked them at least one match.
Fair. So they didn't play the first round, right? They had a bye, and then they started playing QP2, and they had a commanding victory, 2 victories over QP2. Moved on to MIAC, which is a pretty good clan, pretty competitive, and then got whacked against PSV, right?
Right. Well, and I think even if you go all the way back. If you go all the way back to the group stage, I'm going to have a quick look at this. Who's in their group stage? We see them there in Group B. So they were 3-0 in group play with QP2, another good clan. Salt Pigs, which is, I remember, that's another one of the APOC groups, right?
Yeah, that was our second team.
Right.
Yeah.
And La Regia Marina Tre, which I believe was one of the South American groups. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with those guys. I'm not familiar with them, so I won't pretend that I know. But they went 3-0 against that, and then found themselves with a first round bye. And then we just talked through the rest of the way. So,
So one of the things to keep in mind, oftentimes when you have a tournament like this, especially if it's a single elimination tournament, part of this comes down to your luck of the draw, so to speak, in the bracket and how everything works out.
Yep.
Not to say that any team does not deserve to be in the finals, right? These teams have earned their way here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're not going to have a whole big break, I think, here for the next game. All of CUTER already queued up now as we move to Loop.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they want to get this done. And I know from experience from when I was with APOC and we were towards the finals, those 10-minute breaks, man, sometimes they take a very long time, especially when you're on a roll. You're having a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's gelling. Everything's working out perfectly. You want to go, 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 go.
Yeah, you want don't allow the magic to stop.
Exactly.
If you guys remember, I think both of you were around for season 4 when we made it all the way to the finals against SF. And
yes, sir.
We started out down 2-0, and it's like, well, we're doomed.
I remember.
And then 10-minute break, things change. All of a sudden, we're in game 5. We ultimately lost, but like you guys said, CUTER still certainly isn't dead yet. But it'll be interesting to see what they try to do to wheel this series back.
Well, they've certainly they're at their make or break game here. If they lose this game, their tournament is over, and ZR will be playing in tomorrow's third place match against TWA, a game which honestly I would very much like to see those two teams square off. I think that'd be an excellent match.
I just saw a comment pass by in your chat, C-Raptor. It says, whoever wins will just get stomped by TWA. The way ZR is playing right now, I think they're going to give them all that they can handle. I mean, again, TWA is extremely good in what they do. But if ZR does make it, I think they're gonna give them all that they can handle, because these guys are very well gelled together. They play a very good team game, and obviously they have the talent to be here in the first place.
Absolutely. I tell you, we'll take a few minutes here since we're kind of in between games. We'll talk real briefly about how tomorrow is going to go. For those of you that are familiar with the way the EU matches to the third place games and everything were streamed today on the EU side, you know that Flamu and Isolate are in the Wargaming offices in Paris streaming those matches. And what is happening is that Wargaming is providing a live feed of just the game as Flamu and Isolate are driving their cameras around on either team to other people to commentate.
Right.
They do that in Europe because they have quite a number of commentators that will comment the game in Polish or Italian or German or French or whatever, which is awesome because it brings the community a game that the competitive play that they can watch in their native language. Of course, not everybody. I realize in America we sometimes scratch our head at this. Not everybody speaks English, and so I know. And so there's a plethora of languages they've got to cover in Europe, and they do a brilliant job of it. We're being afforded the same chance here tomorrow on the NA side of the house. And what Zath and Sneaky and I are going to attempt to do, and I will not promise this is going to be awesome because this is a big change for us. We're going to pick up the Flame and the Isolate stream, just the way the EU guys are, and we're going to attempt to provide our own commentary. Now, the trick is that we will not have control of the camera. So we're only going to be able to see what they see. but we're going to give this a shot, and we're doing this largely because, you know, we've cast this much of the tournament. We've stuck with these NA teams this far. We want to see it all the way through to the end, and I'm optimistic this will work. But I'm not going to lie, guys. If we get into a couple games into it and we're not comfortable, or we just don't feel like it's working up to our quality standards, we're going to just say, look, guys, you know what? Go watch Flemu over on his stream and call it a day. Because if we can't do it the way we want to do it, to the quality that we want to bring to you guys, then we're just not going to do it, and we'll let Wargaming handle it the way they want to handle it. But we're going to give it an attempt tomorrow. I've talked to Quadrillus, the other main streamer here on NA. He's not doing anything tomorrow. So if you're interested in watching the finals tomorrow with myself and Zath and Sneaky, we are going to give it a go, starting at 11 a.m. Central Time. Okay, that's noon. No, I got to get this right.
Yes,
noon Central, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Okay.
Ooh.
So
I'm gonna be staying up all night then tonight.
the timing is very bad for you in Okinawa, and I apologize for that. But
no, it's good.
But we're gonna give this a go. So we hope you'll stick with us. We'd love to have you back. That's fine. Or if you'd rather go stick with Flemu, hey man, I just want you guys to watch the match. I want you to enjoy it. So we're dropping here. Game will be starting momentarily.
Dude, I don't know why I do this to myself. I've stayed up on Saturday and Sunday night just to catch all of the Warships action. Obviously, playing in it for the first weekend, then we got the rest of it last weekend, and now this. I don't know. I have a problem. I care about this game a little too much.
You have a fever, and the only solution is more warships?
Yep, pretty much. We'll go with that.
The only prescription is more warships.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh Jesus! Don't talk about. Okay.
Oh, you guys know the competitive drive still gets in you guys every now and then. I'm sure you probably think, maybe I could get back into it, right? Yeah.
I tell you, I've had so much fun casting. I don't want to give it up. I'm just to the point where I really feel like we need, and the community deserves, people casting the game who take it seriously, right? The quality, the professional level, as much as we can. There's always going to be certain things that we can't do. We're not professionals at this. I am not a graphics editor, right? The match cards and the graphical overlays you see would not look nearly as good if you got me to do them, because Quadrillus does all that, and he's brilliant with it. I just suck at it.
Are you guys?
So it takes a team to pull this off.
Are you guys looking at the chat right now?
The chat?
I am not.
Oh my god. They're asking about NSFW ship posting in chat. I think ZR is feeling a little good about their play so far, and I think they're already starting to just have fun.
CUTER is pretty weeb heavy, so I'm sure there's plenty of I'm sure there's plenty of interesting things in that NSFW chat.
Hat tip, so is ZR.
Yeah, it's the battle of two weebs here, with one weeb being just a little bit higher. But anyway.
All right, so
real quick, have a quick look at team comps. CUTER has brought the exact same composition with one exception. They've traded out Kasumi Didi's gearing for. He's now in a Grozavoy. Actually, no, we've traded a couple of things. We've got two Grozavoys now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Kasumi wasn't a Grozavoy last game. Shiguri is now in a Grozavoy instead of a gearing.
And on this side, looks like pretty much the same setup. Oh wait, no, Yasin is in Des Moines now. Dolphin is in Hindi.
I can see that. Well, you remember what happened to poor Yasin the last time he played on this map in his Des Moines?
Yes, I do. That was.
He takes a decent hit early there.
Go back and rewatch that video if you want.
For those of you who missed it, you can find the replay on my channel. There's a quick clip of it. But Yasin Poi last in the game against 07, the elimination round, the semifinal game, in his Des Moines, he kind of set up camp north of B, and he took one salvo that wiped about a half his health from a long range salvo from Montana. And as he got back behind cover, Anumati brought in a bunch of AP bombs from his midway and just basically wiped him out. It was a thing of beauty to watch from 07's side, because the timing of it and the teamwork were stellar.
And I
felt bad for Yasin Poi though, because he had no chance.
I felt bad for Yasin Poi, but I also felt good in that it showcased that there isn't one proper carrier to bring in competitive, and we've seen that for so many seasons. It's always the Shokaku, and so the changes to the midway, it's kind of nice because you can see how it forces people to play to two different carriers as opposed to one dominant strategy.
Indeed. I'm super confused here early on as CUTERs push their Grozovoys out to the flanks, looking like they might go for an AC split with the Grozovoys, but both Grozovoys turned around. Shiguri, one of the Grozovoys is way down on the H line in H9, and the other one is running south in H3. Like, they're not even close to these cap circles. So, I mean, ZR is going to bag A and C essentially for free. They're not even, like, the destroyers in there aren't even going to get spotted.
Right. Well, and you can see that thanks to Carefree Tongue's just brilliant spotting and vision. He's about to lose the bombers on the east flank, but hey, the job's been done. He's told his team enough. There's nothing to contest him right now.
Nothing to fear, right? I mean,
yeah.
Shiguri DD now in fixing to edge through G9, but just seemingly totally uninterested in going near that cap. Of course, there is a Moskva up there that was spotted. He knows there's a radar available covering the C cap. As Destroyer Kurushio, Kai's, and McKillen Times Des Moines have set up south of B, but neither one of them really going into that B cap.
Hey, keep an eye on Killing Time for a minute.
Yeah, I see the Torps coming in.
He's going to eat one.
Going to eat at least one, unless he's going to eat one. He already turned his engines on. That one's for sure.
It's going to hit right underneath that. It's going to be some heavy damage.
Yeah, right under the stack, knocks his engine out, but he repairs it right away as Destroyer Kurushio Kai starts smoking him up.
Something to point out here. I thought that 3 destroyers, much like the last SL season, because of the AA that they can get, was going to be the predominant comp to build with. But you can clearly see here that ZR has the positioning control with the Des Moines and the Moskva with the radar. And basically, with those 3 destroyers for CUTER, they can't push into B or C because they're going to get radared. And because this is the higher tiers and you can put on the radar extension equipment, which really pushes that duration out to some pretty ridiculous times. Again, I think it's about 40 seconds for the Moskva and about 55 or so for the Des Moines. You cannot stay on a cap. You cannot... You know, this isn't Chapayev radar where it's only 20 seconds where you can wait it out. You just cannot wait that stuff out. And clearly ZR is taking advantage of that.
Well, I think what CUTER was trying to do was take those destroyers and smoke up their cruisers, and that's maybe why they turned around. They had to get back to their cruisers after the initial spotting wave was done. But you know what? If you want to smoke up your cruisers, Grozovoy is not the ship to use.
No, it's not.
CUTER not looking really aggressive early here, almost 150 points down, just less than 6 minutes into the game on the strength of 2 quick caps by GRE and SAT score, and the CUTER destroyers just flatly refusing to move any closer to these cap circles than they absolutely have to.
Kasumi's moving in.
Probably the only one who's close. Yep, over here south of A, spotted by planes, continuing to push though.
Yeah, he's going to get punished a little bit for that kind of a push, but...
Well, he's got 25,000 hit points. I mean, you know, use them for something.
Exactly. The biggest problem, though, is you have to get the push going on both sides. Otherwise, it allows these guys to just focus on one ship. As you can see, Yasin's even getting in on this now.
Dolphin Princess got chunked a bit, I think. That's all right, though.
Big torpedo salvo going through the smoke over here as Cruiser Kinu eats one on the stern.
The Des Moines?
No, the Hindenburg south of C just ate one torpedo in smoke.
Yeah.
The smoke has just evaporated now. Kasumi DD now moving into A, contesting it, but is it GRE or SAT that's on the northern end of the cap?
GRE.
GRE.
One thing I also wanted to mention, and wanted to see if you guys concur, whenever ZR's cruisers do take a decent chunk or whatever, they don't get chunked again. They're able to... They get chunked once and they realize, okay, I've made a mistake. Where'd the shells come from? Let me reposition accordingly. And then they don't get, blacked hard again.
Yeah, they're okay with taking a hit or two if it means that, they're kind of spreading around the damage. You're absolutely correct on that. And then the next time you see them, they've already healed up at least once.
Absolutely.
I agree. ZR does a really good job kind of rotating their cruisers out of the line of fire when necessary. We've seen it time and time again. Yasin getting chunked in that game against 07, kind of a rare thing. And it took 2 different ships and a very specific tag team and a sequence of events for that to occur. Because at the start of that sequence, what you see before the shells actually take Yasin's health away is he pops his defensive fire to drive off a torpedo bomber strike that Anumani pulls out. Then Yasin eats a bunch of shells that takes half his health away, and then the AP bombs come in.
Look over at A. Kasumi just got spotted.
Yep, I'm already there. leaving some torpedoes for GRE, but I'm sure GRE is kind of running north now.
Yeah, nowhere near the smoke.
Yep. Kasumi picking up A, but CUTER almost 300 points behind here as we get close to the halfway mark of the match, as now it looks as if SAT is in B. There he is. Ooh, big rumble at B here. He's right in front of Kuroshio Kai.
Yasin's got shots into A. I think he's going to keep just blind firing into that smoke and get some reset points here and there. So, and the thing is, yep, there it is. Jerry gets back in the cap. There's no way Kasumi's going to cap A.
Kuroshio Kai and SAT score now proxy spotting each other in B. About to end as they pass more than 2 kilometers away. There we go.
Aside from the carriers, nothing can shoot SAT. Nothing's really got a shot on him.
Nobody has shots on him. Does take it takes a little bit of fire there. One shell in the bow from must have been the Yamato. Takes a few more bomb. He's refusing to leave the cap though. Kuroshio Kai looking like he's going to reverse now. Maybe get his guns around. Still no shots. Can't quite make him out.
Is that gearing at the southeastern corner of B as you're looking at the minimap?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
We're about to see him. He's spotting SAT score now. Somebody's spotting SAT score. Must be radar.
Des Moines, yeah.
Yeah, Des Moines radar must be active now in B. Here comes the torpedo squadron for SAT score. Torpedo drop.
Yeah, no, nothing.
It's an odd place to try and drop that, but okay.
Yeah, I think he knew defensive fire was up, so he just wanted to get the torps out and get his planes back to the carrier.
Kuroshio Kai continuing to reverse, now throwing some torpedoes. B still going nowhere. I'm assuming GRE score is now back in A. I don't see that one ticking up either.
Yeah, he's going to stay there. There's no way. Unless the Yamato can somehow get rid of the Hindenburg or...
Roto front's looking low. Roto front now on about 6,500 HP, exposed north of C. Could he be the first kill of the game?
Yeah, certainly looks like it. He's trying to back up.
Positive. He's trying to get out of there. 1,800 HP and falling. More shells still coming in.
Nope, he's going down.
Yeah, I think so. 300 HP. One shell will do it. There we go. CUTER bags their first kill. Some badly needed points to try and close the gap here. Now, removing that battleship from C might give them the opportunity to push. We'll see if they feel that way as they close the gap to about 250 points here at the halfway mark of the match.
Got some Kuroshio Kai's backing up. Yeah, trying to get a position.
Decided we're finally going to have it out with SAT or force him back out of the cap, continuing to fire. Put good fire into SAT score's bow. Really good shell hits there.
Surprised
Kuroshio has
SAT
about
is
a 10,000 HP lead in this damage race.
His buddy in the Des Moines is not able to help him out.
SAT score might go down here. He's very exposed.
Oh yeah, he's going down.
He's going to go down. Maybe he's got his torps ready. Yeah, he's dropped his torps. There it is. He's going widespread too. I'm totally cool with that
plan.
Yep.
Kuroshio Kai now accelerating, trying to avoid these torps. Will it be mutual annihilation?
It will.
It's mutual annihilation. Wow, he had to.
Nope. Kuroshio accelerates and gets out of it. He's going to kill SAT. There he goes.
That desync was insane. That torpedo went underneath the center of his ship.
Yeah.
Not on my screen. Kuroshio Kai now the sole surviving destroyer in B. That's an excellent push by CUTER, flushing out SAT score and taking him off the board. They should be able to cap B as Kasumi continues to hold down the points at A. They've now closed the gap to less than 200 points with 8 minutes to play.
ZR still in the lead, but down on ships, and that's going to be...
2 ships down. We haven't seen this happen to ZR in a while.
No.
But
now,
CUTER has given up a lot of health to get this board position.
Yes, absolutely. These are the first 2 kills I think that they've got in the entire set so far. But it couldn't come at a better time because they need to.
They desperately need a win here. One more loss, and their day is over. Shigure's Grozavoy still refusing to move up on C. I think he's just reluctant to do so until they finish pushing this Moskva off the board. Made you read this Moskva very low now, 6,800 HP and falling, 2,900 and falling.
And that's the problem with the Moskva is you get in position there, you have to block shots from all angles, and that's a very small island to butt up to.
Indeed. Shinano explosive in smoke on fairly low, 23,000 HP for a Montana, but made you read this, repairing now, just popping his heel. More shells continuing to fall on him. They desperately need to get him off the board.
Here goes.
As Kurozukinu backs him. Shiguri now out of excuses. He really needs to get into C now. Like, this needs to happen. CUTER closing the gap to less than 120 points with 7 minutes to play.
And now there he is.
How much hit points does the CUTER gearing have at A right now, Sea Raptor? He's tucked up against the island.
The gearing at A.
The
the Grozavoy at A?
The Grozavoy, sorry.
Kasumi has about 11,500. He's right at about half health.
Okay.
Ooh, big shells on GRE score now as he's spotted running north of A. It might be that Kinu will... Kasumi DD will finally pick up A. They finally seem to have flushed GRE out. CUTER maybe seconds away here from 3-capping this map. Shiguri's A churning at C, trying to drive away these planes and allow him to seal the deal here. As Shinano Explosive and Kurozukinu continue to pressure Mechanics is surviving Hindenburg, the sole surviving ZR ship at B. Mechanics takes a decent hit there. I tell you, CUTER looked really bad going 300 points down now, but they just played patient, continued to push. That decisive gearing loss at B, I think, is really going to hurt ZR here.
Absolutely.
Less than 100 points separate the two teams now with almost 5.5 minutes to play. CUTER will soon be the only one gaining points. ZR needs to regroup and find a pressure point to push, but they're 3 ships down. It's going to be very challenging.
Now, the irony that I spoke of earlier was like, I don't know if the 3DD, it doesn't seem like that it's working out too much, but the big caveat is that if you are able to get a cruiser off the board, or if you're able to kill one of their DDs, then it does open it up a bit more for you.
Indeed, some very, very solid destroyer play there at B. Destroyer Kuroshi Okai taking out SAT score was a huge moment from this match.
Yep. And there was a bit of a misplay there. We didn't see AP being used against the broadside gearing, and I think that would have had a huge impact on his health.
Now, GRE score must be radared now north of B. McKillen Time being very aggressive here, continuing to push north. I'm not sure the wisdom of this. There's a Yamato way over on the 3 line that could punish him for this move. Ooh, but it pays off. Lukaku Dairy's Yamato shells connecting as the lead continues to build for CUTER.
I think it was one of those calculated risks where they said, all right, we're probably going to lose a ship in the trade, but we got to get this destroyer off the board.
Yeah.
You deny an awful lot of the vision, a lot of the smoke.
Well, CUTER's been a really smart play as well. Shinano Explosives Montana south of C, very low. They've pulled him back out of range, out of spotting. McKillen Time now reversing into Kurashi Okai's smoke at B.
But
yes,
he's
got
a
torpedo strike coming in. Kurashio taking some shells. He's the low.
That Des Moines needs to angle. He needs to be very careful from the Hindenburg that's over north of C. He did take a pretty decent chunk there. Gearing's also...
Here comes a torpedo strike. Looks like a blind torpedo strike as a strafe comes in that misses. No dice on the strafe. Kuroshi Okai on 47 hit points in this smoke. Torpedoes going in now on McKillen Time into Kuroshi Okai here in smoke at B.
Yep. And this is when you tell your team, just shoot the damn smoke.
McKillen Time is fine. He will take nothing. Kuroshi Okai is fine. He will take nothing. The question is, does Yasenpoi have a radar? Because a single shell, an overpen, will wipe Kuroshio off the board.
No, I think they were lit earlier in the smoke, and the radar is out now.
Yeah, it is out.
3 minutes to play now. CUTER with a 250-point lead, continuing to build on the back of their massive cap advantage here in Game 3.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. Like, I think the ZR is mishandling this right now. They need to be shooting into the smoke. Even though you have a shot on Kinu there, you got to get that destroyer off the board.
Kashimikaze's Yamato now pushes down the 2 line. He's had enough of this garbage. He is going to go take on this Grozavoy and Hindenburg.
Yeah, it's time to save a star.
Let's see what happens.
All of us here were singing the praises for ZR, and at the beginning they had excellent board position, and I don't know if it qualifies as a throw per se, but that was...
I hesitate to call it that, but I feel like there was absolutely no reason for them to risk SAT at B. I think that was the mistake. There was no sense to drive him that close to a Des Moines and a gearing. It was what was the need? They did not need B cap. They didn't. So why send him over there?
And the biggest thing was Yasenpoi wasn't in a position to support him at the time. I mean, it's one thing to send him out there to try to harass B and cap it if Yasenpoi's guns are able to help, but they weren't.
Speaking of Yasen, it might be in a bit of trouble here as he grounds himself just north of a northeastern corner of A, fully exposed, broadside to a Yamato. Here come the Yamato shells. Big hit, but not enough to wipe him out.
Nope.
Well, of course
He's
not,
healing.
right?
I know.
Full
2 minutes to
broadside?
play. CUTER within a hair's breadth of victory here, ticking up points very quickly on loop.
And that means CUTER's not out of this. This is a huge
CUTER is
win
not
for them.
out of this.
They need this to know that they're competitive too, just like ZR. And they're going to come back from this with that newly instilled confidence that they can do this.
Well, we were talking about it earlier. This is kind of how things began to play out the last time we played in that finals match with SF and APOC a couple of seasons ago. We went down 0-2. We picked up Game 3. We went into Game 4 with a tremendous amount of confidence.
There it is.
But you know CUTER has to be feeling that right now as they claim Game 3.
Oh yeah, that kind of morale booster, especially considering that they did not even lose a single ship. That was very impressive. They recognized the mistakes that were made and immediately were able to capitalize on them.
Now, if you look at the plane totals, you're
Yeah.
going to notice a big difference here now. It seems as if Carrier Midway has decided maybe more conservative, pulling Carefree Tongue's fighters back closer to enemy-friendly A. I'm not sure, but he seemed to be playing more intelligently is not the word I want to use, but that's all I can come up with right now, that match.
Whatever the case might be, we didn't see Carefree Tongue's presence as much as we have in the past couple games. So that's definitely something I think ZR is going to be analyzing and discussing.
Indeed, an excellent well-played match by both teams. A convincing win for CUTER here on loop, going down 300 points early, but then just slowly grinding ZR down and working their way back in and picking up Game 3.
Absolutely savage.
All right, we'll go into Warriors Path next. Now, this is one of those maps where I don't think you need 3 destroyers. Do you think we'll see CUTER bring out the 3 destroyer setup again?
You know what? It worked for them this match, and we're on Warriors Path.
Yep, going to Warriors Path. Yes, sir.
3 destroyers can be very useful. There's an awful lot of open space in this map.
C-Raptor, the one thing that I will say about this Warriors Path map is I recall ZR bringing I don't want to say controversial, but it was definitely an exotic build, or a comp, I should say, where they had a Minotaur and a Z52 that were sitting in the B cap. Now, of course, bringing a Minotaur, that's not necessarily out of the way, so to speak, but having that Z52 was, and I know that 07, at least when they played them, were able to take advantage of it, but it makes me wonder if ZR did use that comp on this map. Not just against 07, but in games prior to.
Yeah,
we ran into them once. We ran into them once on Sea of Fortune using that double, that little pair in the middle of the map.
Yeah, we saw that as well. We watched that last week, and they used that on Sea of Fortune as well against 07. They brought a Minotaur who literally camped in one of those little notches at B the whole game. I don't think he fired his guns for 12 minutes. I think he just sat there, drank a couple of beers, right? Until like at the 13-minute mark, he reversed out and they pushed into B, right? It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It was like playing a ship down. But I mean, it didn't work for them in the end. Of course, they lost that game.
Yeah.
A couple of really good shots from 07's, one of 07's Montana's, William the Dank came in and wiped those guys out in B because there was nobody backing them up on their flank, right? There was nobody to the west of them on the map. And William just pushed right back in and put shells through the gap and just wiped the Zed and the Minotaur off the map in back-to-back salvos.
Well, that's how you do it too on Sea of Fortune. If you go really wide, you can get those angles into that little sea indentation in the island like you were talking about. If you take it out really wide, get a spot plane up, you can lob shells into that position, and they were able to do that very successfully.
All right, Zath, you and I are the only ones not queued up, so I'm taking care of that now.
Roger that, sorry.
No. Quad's not queued up either on your team, but that's okay. They'll get it figured out.
We're still using Ares, right?
Still in Ares. We should not need carriers the rest of this match.
Yay.
C-Raptor, I don't know if you've been paying attention to your viewer count, but it's up to 461 right now.
I have noticed. I appreciate you guys tuning in and joining. Hope you're enjoying the stream.
You get more, Zath? I would presume.
I have no idea what my account is. I'm interacting with the people that are in the channel right now and just having a great time. To me, that's
Yes.
more important than the numbers of people that are watching.
Oh yeah, That's probably the best part about casting, getting to interact with all the folks.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we've got quite a number of. Go ahead, Zaf.
I was gonna say, I actually have my laptop up right next to me, so that's I have the stream up on the right. I can glance over and see what's going on. So you know, I'm getting better at this.
Well, guys, another quick turn. We're dropping.
Okay. I see another 3DD set for CUTER.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, they've opted for 3DDs again. It looks as if we've gone from double Grozovoy back to double gearing. Shigure making the change. Other than that, I don't see a change. Des Moines, double Hindenburg, Montana Yamato, and Hakuryu.
Meanwhile, on the ZR side, they've dropped the Moskva for a Hindenburg, which I think is a good pick, and they've also picked up another Yamato. I think Red up front maybe got a little frustrated last game with inability to penetrate with the Montana.
Double Yamato. Now, we have not seen much double Yamato in this tournament, Zaf. I can't recall ever seeing it, honestly. We've seen quite a bit of single Yamato, Yamato Montana. We haven't seen a Kerr first at all. We have seen Conqueror.
Obviously, ZR does have some pretty good strats, some pretty complex movements for the ships, but seeing double Yamato, what that tells me is that they might try to send both of them over to the eastern side and kind of have like a pillbox, if you will, set up with both of them, where they put them both in the back line, sitting there, you know, bow in-ish, utilizing their guns and just trying to play a bit more static. Again, I don't know if that's for sure. I haven't seen ZR run this comp, but we'll see if they do that.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Before we get too deep in this match, I just want to give a shout out to my international viewers. Thanks for joining in, guys. I know a lot of you. I see a lot of flags from Germany, you know, Canada, Australia, all kinds of stuff. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the stream. I know it's a weird hour in the world, especially in Europe. So thanks for staying up late. I hope you're enjoying the show.
Yeah, I think it's pretty
So
awesome. They want to know who their teams are up against.
Absolutely.
So Red up front is indeed heading over to the west, so I guess it's going to be an AC play with that Des Moines helping out over at C.
Well, let's see. We've got. It looks as if we've got one of the gearings going center here with McKillen times Des Moines again backing him up. Destroyer Kuroshio Kai will be into B in seconds. He's got a little bit of fighter cover, so we'll see how that plays out. Kasumi DD's Grozovoy headed to C, as Shigure's Gearing and Kinu's Hindenburg and Shano Explosives Montana head over, looking like they're going to play delaying action to the north side of A.
Hey, gents, I'll be right back.
All right.
So
Kuroshio Kai, of course, into B now.
Usually we see a Des Moines, just for my viewers, usually we see a Des Moines over here, parked up on the north side of B cap, in position to radar, deny, scouting with planes, all that good stuff. And the fun thing is we got that island to the south, so same thing happens down here.
Well, you called it, because McKillen Time is going to be in that position. You showed your guys north of A in literally like now. He's basically there.
Yep. Interestingly enough, Major Readthis is choosing not to go there with his Des Moines. Instead, he's heading for C. I think he's going to do something similar over at C, just kind of lob up to where SAT is right now and deny the C cap.
All right, I'm back.
Carrier Midway here, punishing these dive bombers over here on the 9 line. That's scouting, bit of scouting, getting them off the board. The fighters, let's see, who is this? Kuroshio Kai looked like he was briefly spotted in B, but he caps B uncontested. No shells taken. He will probably rotate up and go give McKillen time some smoke now, as CUTER begins to build a lead here on the early B cap. We see that both of ZR's destroyers are now into A and C.
Yep. So they gave up B cap so they can get themselves to the flanks.
Indeed. Now, based on what I'm seeing, CUTER's going to let them have A. But I think that Kasumi DD's Grozovoy, it looks like he might get in to contest C momentarily. Let's see what he does.
Yeah, there are torps coming to where he might be coming out, but he's probably going to miss it.
Right now he's... Oh, here they come. Nope. This could be bad. Kasumi now reacting to the incoming torps. He's going to eat at least one of these right on the broadside. Oh my goodness, desync, I guess. He takes it in the bow. He does eat one. He's about half health now, as he dumps some return torpedoes down the same direction.
All right, now if I'm SAT score, I'm telling Readthis, hey, pop your radar. Let's get this guy off the board. And that's probably going to happen now that the cap is there.
I don't know if he has the range, Zath. I'm not 100% sure on that.
That's true. That's very true.
It's hard to tell with the screen share, but I don't know if he's in range.
Kasumi is
just
north of the DE line, fully in the D line here.
Yeah, he's gonna stay back for a while now. So.
Okay. Well, we see ZR now picking up the flank caps, the wing caps here, A and C, as they begin to close the gap and slowly build a lead of their own here in Game 4 on Warrior's Path.
Now, if he can, if these guys, my guess is what ZR is hoping to do is to funnel CUTER into B. If they can do that, I mean, they might just very well have this.
I don't know, man. CUTER seems disinclined to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got a lot of force on these flanks. They'd have to make a big deployment change to try and pull that off. Cruiser Kenny snuggling up to some smoke, some island cover here north of A, putting out his fires, kind of recouping some health. Kind of a quiet moment here for CUTER. They seem to be reorganizing, rethinking maybe some of their board position. All the forces north of C have pulled back all the way to the C line.
Dolphin Princess getting chunked heavily yet again.
Yeah.
Where is
in the open? H line just south of B cap.
H5.
Yeah, I lost sight of him.
He got chunked down to just below half health. He is repairing, but that's not the first time that I've seen that happen with that guy.
That's been kind of a staple, I think. But here come the Torp bombers.
Yeah, they're incoming
Dolphin
two full
Princess now
squadrons.
spotted.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Popping his DF, wanting none of this garbage.
No, looks like he'll be
firmly flipping off these Kuryu torpedo bombers as they come in. Will any of them survive to drop?
No.
Hindenburg A proving as punishing as everyone believes.
And I like how Carefree Tongue immediately responding to get these bombers out to deny the vision so that Dolphin can get away.
Carefree Tongue bringing those fighters back as we conquer Derry. Looks like he might take one torpedo on the bow here and smoke north of C as Cruiser Yura continues to move north and avoid those torps entirely. Kasumi DD pushing south now, but we know there's a Des Moines lurking around that island just waiting to crush him if he dips his toes into the cap.
So those Yamatos are doing more of the static pillbox type thing. It's just the very wide, at least for the east. That's interesting. It's not bad. What they're doing is fine. It's just an interesting position.
Kino is starting to get nailed up here at the north of Alpha.
Ooh, like Kino very low already. 21,000 HP. More torpedoes coming in.
I think he's
dodge those.
Nope.
He dodges those very narrowly. One passing right down his starboard side here.
Forced to slow down though, which means it's going to be harder for him to get out.
Indeed. Still losing health. Finally, fires are out, or he put them out. I'm not sure which. He's got to run north for a while.
Now we know
ZR now.
Yeah.
Almost out to a 100-point lead here as we 7 minutes gone in the match. Suikaku Derry also on about half health. CUTER as a team has given up just a tremendous amount of health so far for only 7 minutes played.
Red Front's got some shells coming in on the Hindenburg that's north of A for CUTER. He just goes undetected.
Couple hits.
Ooh, yep. He took about 5 or 6K there. He's down under 10,000. On fire again. Puts the fire out right away. Can't afford to get spotted.
No.
And unfortunately, the air war is going to be lost by Carefree over here. Well, maybe not. But it's going to be a while before Vision can come back.
That's a very ballsy play by CUTER to shove their Des Moines into B.
Dolphin just took another big chunk.
If I'm CUTER right now, I have to realize that A is not going to happen. So literally these guys need to start moving north, running north, kiting north, whatever, while the push happens at C. But at the same time, you look at the ZR board position south of C. How do you push against that? That Des Moines is a brilliant position. They're backed up by a Yamato and 2 Hindenburgs. I'm not sure that's easy. They need more help from somewhere.
Red Front has his guns.
Getting focused heavily now on 9,300 HP in his Yamato, continuing to run north. If he goes down, I don't see a CUTER push at C happening at all. I don't think it's possible.
Red Front in the Yamato sitting at the top part of H4 has his guns trained to the right into B. I know that Des Moines is shoved up against the island. The ZR Des Moines, Major Reed, this is well within radar range, so whenever it comes back up, Red Front could be looking at a pretty nasty salvo. I don't know if the CUTER Des Moines is aware of that at the moment.
It probably isn't, because that Yamato has not been spotted.
Oh, there goes the radar.
Some time.
There goes the radar.
They see McKillen in there, but McKillen, he's snuggled up to an island. I'm not sure.
Here
he's
comes
moving,
the shells.
He's moving out now. Well, I see some Hindenburg shells coming in.
You're about to see some.
The Awesome Boys obviously firing at him. Oh,
wow,
there were
that
the
just
Yamato
frozen.
shells. Not much out of those.
Bit of a
Last
misplay, I
time
think,
for one more.
with Red up front. He moved his guns quickly to the Des Moines, not expecting to get another spot on the Hindenburg up to the north of A. Had he kept his guns there, he might have been able to wipe that guy off.
Tricky is that
Another
with
salvo.
McKillen, we know the Yamato will get at least one more salvo as long as that radar is active.
The shells are inbound.
Here they come. I see them coming in. Nope.
Wow,
Nothing.
2 very poor salvos. That was... Did he even hit any?
No.
As McKillen time decides he's going to return fire, he starts launching AP at Redo front.
Why not, right?
Kasumi DD dipping his toes into AC briefly, but no dice there. As we approach the halfway mark of the match,
He got another
ZR's
salvo.
board control continues to work for them. They're about 170 points up, continuing to grow.
They had some hits
There we go.
finally.
Major Read this just took a decent hit.
Yep, that was from the Yamato. He was able to
Yep.
get one more salvo off.
Lukaku's repaired now. He's back up to about 25,000 HP. I really feel like if CUTER doesn't make a push at C soon, they're going to lose their opportunity to do it at all.
Yep, we're at the halfway mark. No ship's dead yet, but definitely board control heavily favoring ZR.
Absolutely. CUTER has just coughed up a lot of health for very little gain here as Kasumi DD pushes his toes back into the northeastern edge of the sea cap. Is he in radar range? He is, but he knows that Read You This's radar is down for a little while longer. Probably, what do you think, another 60 seconds or so at least?
There's Kasumi being spotted now at sea.
Yep, plane's coming in to try and spot him. They do pick him up. He pops his DF and smokes immediately.
And
No
he got a
bomb
hit.
hits.
That's good for the reset.
He must have gotten a reset, but he didn't actually do
Yeah.
any damage. Must have been a module hit.
Lousy modules.
Major Read This takes another decent-sized hit there, down to about 26,000 HP or so.
Torp
Fishing
strike.
for Kasumi in this smoke.
Coming in on Red up
Uh-oh.
front in the Yamato. And he's kind of being caught flat-footed right now.
Yes, he is. Big torpedo strike going in on that nasty Yamato torpedo belt.
It's going to take, what, 6?
It looks like he's going to take 7.
7?
7 torps land on Redo front, chunking about 40,000 hit points off of his Yamato. That might give CUTER a health advantage, and they allow them to push at A if they want.
You
as
think
they
he got
bag C
flooded?
here with 8.5 minutes to play.
And here comes the AG
He is
spam.
flooding. He is flooding. Redo front left flooding there. Unspotted, however. No eyes on him at the moment to pressure him.
Just used his repair. He's getting behind the island.
As which gearing is it at C? He's back in the cap.
SAT.
SAT. All right, SAT score back in the C cap to contest it on behalf of ZR. Kasumi, another torp strike coming in on where Kasumi might eat one. Not looking promising. Ooh, is he going to dodge these? Yes, he is. Whew.
SAT forced to get out of the cap because
Yep.
of being spotted.
Spotted by planes and driven out of the cap now. CUTER about 140 points down, closing the gap slowly with 8 minutes to play here on Warrior's Path.
Yep. The torpedo bombers coming back to sacrifice themselves, get Redo front spotted, and set on fire.
Yep, Redo front spotted now. South of A, being focused now by the Des Moines in B, the Hindenburg, and the Montana. North of
Shells are
A,
coming
all
back.
firing at him.
Shells are coming back in at the Des Moines.
Oh, big hit!
What a
big
shot!
Hit.
There was a shot.
Oof.
What a
Redo
shot!
front exacting his vengeance on McKillen time in B as ZR bags the first kill of the match.
Puts him in
That
his
was a
place.
very nice salvo.
ZR almost within 100 points of victory now as SAT score forges back into C.
A little late on the smoking, but he's probably going to be okay.
He should be okay. They don't have any radar over there to spot him. So, and their only radar on the board is now out.
He needs to turn his
Kasumi
anti-air
is
off.
taking some mad damage.
All right. Well, with the loss of the Des Moines camped out at B, that frees up SAT
Everyone.
score to duck back into C pretty much, yeah.
You know, it didn't happen as much in the Tier 8 meta. You could afford to, shove a cruiser, at least with radar, up in and around B in those islands, and you could get away with it. But here at Tier 10, because there's so much more range and, the guns are so much more dangerous, you can work those angles a little bit better.
The range
and
of the
that
angles,
spot,
you can suddenly take shells from 25 kilometers away.
that spot that the Yamato was in, it's also not just for the Yamato, but for any battleship. That is a wonderful angle to work into B, and they were able to take care of it.
You're referring to
CUTER
Redo
forces
front.
at C now basically in full retreat all running north, ceding the C cap to ZR, who's almost about to win, essentially.
Yep.
And
check out
that's
Shinano
going to
explosive.
just accelerate the process. Is Shinano almost out?
Well, he's got some surprises coming his way.
Oh, goodness. I see this. More torpedoes coming in on Shinano. Turning his
Those
stride,
surprises
dodge.
gone.
Nope. Not enough. GRE bags a big kill here as ZR moves to within 10 points. A few more ticks will do it. I think this is going to end it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like GG to me. Yep.
It does. Yep, there comes the GG from CUTER as ZR claims the third place match, game 4, and the match. They will face TWA tomorrow in the grand finals.
What a game.
You know, I gotta give major props to both teams, right? ZR played so well, but CUTER just looked really rough those first 2 games and came back and played a very, very solid game 3 and basically proved to everybody, you know what, we belong here. We may still lose this match, but we can absolutely play at this level. So hats off to them.
Take a look at the plane kills right now. This tells a huge story. 17 is the most. I mean, the carriers were more focused on spotting, less focused on doing damage, and it kind of shows here.
Indeed.
I just wonder what CUTER did differently to keep the plane kills down so much from the first 2 games. I couldn't put my finger on it. I mean, obviously, Gearing and Grozovoy AA is pretty good, but like Zach said, you look at the kill count for the planes, and it wasn't as much. I don't know if there was some sort of change that ZR wanted from their carrier after the first 2, but it certainly, at least on paper, looks a lot more even the last 2 games that we had.
There we go. Well, congratulations to ZR. They will finish in 3rd place here in the North American bracket. They will be facing TWA tomorrow in the grand finals. Don't quote me on timing, but I'm pretty sure they're going to do the 3rd place. Actually, I do know they'll do the 3rd place game first. Mm-hmm. That will be at 6 p.m. Central European time, 11 a.m. U.S. Central time. So we'll be broadcasting that tomorrow and giving that a shot.
And early as hell for me.
Yeah, 15, 16 hours difference. What time is that for you, man?
So for comparing it to Eastern Standard Time, I am 14 hours ahead.
That's like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 1, 2 o'clock, something like that.
Wow, you're brave, man. You sure you want to do that?
Like I said earlier, I think I care a little bit too much about this game. You got that Worship's fever.
Fever!
I got a fever. And the only prescription. All right. Well, guys, it is now 3:30 here, U.S. Central. We've been at this an hour and a half. The finals match will be up next. Give me a few minutes, Zaz Sneaky. I'm going to duck over to Discord and double check with the refs on the timing. There was talk about going ahead and starting the finals match at the top of the hour if we were ready, and it looks like we're going to be. So let me find out and make sure that's what they want to do.
Sounds great.
Okay.